Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another movie review. Tonight we're looking at the controversial film David Lynch's Eraserhead, released on Criterion. I've had this for a little while now. I did do an unboxing on my channel last year, but I haven't got around to watching it until now. So let's have another quick reminder at this release. So here we are guys, here is a little look at the physical release of David Lynch's Eraserhead on Criterion. I did do a full unboxing on my channel, a closer look. So we're going to have a bit of a quicker look today. So it comes in a sort of flimsy little slipcase, which is pretty cool though. It's quite expensive, as you can see. It is a Blu-ray release. It comes with the disc on Blu-ray, and it does come with an extensive booklet about the making of the film and the transfer and interviews and essays of the film. So that all comes in there, and it sits in very nice within the little case there and into the slipcase. So that is a quick little look at the physical release of David Lynch's Eraserhead. So it's a nice release from Criterion, not the greatest for the price, but it is still a nice release. But is there any special features on the disc? So here we are guys, on the main menu of the Criterion collection of Eraserhead. We have the movie, we have a set of short films called Six Men Getting Sick, The Alphabet, The Grandmother, The Amputee, Premonitions Following the Evil Deed, and we have supplements, which are interviews from 1977, 79, 82, 88, 97, 2001 and 2014. And then you have TV calibration, which is what David Lynch would like you to do to calibrate the picture for this film. And that is the special features on Eraserhead. So it's a very strange setup, just like the film, with the way the sort of like the extra features are. But there are some on there. There's some interviews and there's some sort of short films as well on this film. So let's get to the story, if there is one. So this is quite a bizarre kind of film, really. It's an absolute sort of mindfuck kind of film. You have to be in the right place to watch it, I think. It's about Harry Spencer, played by John Nance, who's this strange man that's living in this sort of like industrial kind of area in an apartment, and he has quite a sexy neighbour living next door. Anyway, he's got a girlfriend, and the film starts off where we see him having some sort of dreaming hallucinations of like this kind of sperm-like creature coming out of his mouth, and it's very, very bizarre and very like almost set up like this from a different sort of planet, almost like a moon. And then we see him walking around the sort of like town and area, which is very quite highly industrial, with a railway track with loads of noises of industrial noises going on, and sort of like railway trains and things like this. And he's making his way to his girlfriend's house because he's been invited to dinner. He had a message from his neighbour saying that he's been invited to go around for dinner. So off he pops to their house, and they're a bizarre little folk as well. We meet his partner. We meet her mother, father, and probably grandmother, and they're all bizarre. And he goes round there, and the mother starts questioning bizarre questions about has he had sex with her, because apparently she's given birth, not to a baby, to like this sort of alien like lizard like sort of looking creature, and they're to get married because obviously now they're parents. So they get married and they move into Henry's little apartment, but it drives his wife insane because this little creature, which is actually quite cute looking. Actually, I find it quite cute looking, although bizarrely weird. Keeps crying and she can't feed it, she can't look after it properly, and it drives her mad. And she leaves and walks out and leaves Henry as a single parent with trying to cope with this newborn. And he continues to have these weird visions. We see like this light coming from behind his radiator, and within this light lives this sort of bizarre woman with these massive cheeks coming on the stage singing songs and dancing and stuff. And he's having all these bizarre visions. And his neighbor uh, seems to take a shine to him, and they have some sort of interaction. And then she has interaction with another man, and he becomes very jealous and starts to become insane. And why he's still got this sort of like newborn with them. And then it becomes to a very sort of bizarre third act, which I won't tell you about. So let's get to the controversy about it. So this was a controversial film when it came out because it mainly because of the imagery. There is some imagery of like part of the film where we see the insides of this newborn, and it's very graphic and very shocking in some areas. But the rest of it is very stark and very, very bizarre and surreal. And I thought this was made it very, very uncomfortable watching. So it came out to a lot of very mixed reviews. It's a very art house kind of film, and a lot of the people like in the industry loved the film, but the public couldn't take to it. But over the years, its controversy has drawn an audience, mostly from the horror genre. Is this a horror film? Yes, in a kind of way it is, but not 100%. I think it more tackles things like being unable to tackle with a newborn, and maybe postnatal depression, and maybe single fatherhood. I think it tackles all these things in one little, very obscure little film. So let's get to my final verdict. So this is a strange one to sort of like rate, because there's so much about the film that's good and there's so much about the film that's awful. The imagery is very, very unique, should I say. It is very art house. It's shot in black and white and it's filmed really well. But I think the most terrifying thing about this film is the sound. It's a very the sound is very plays on its atmospherics. Now, if you want to stand by that, it means like the noise, the white noise of life going on. Like from one outside, it's very noisy and it's like a very sort of like a white noise background going in on behind scenes, which is quite irritating and plays with your head. And then when you go in the room, it's still there, but it quietens down, like dumbs down. So there's like this sort of constant hum and buzz going on in the background of the film, which is supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be the white noise of life going on. And that's more uncomfortable than anything else. But the imagery is very strong. It's very like sustained in a lot of times. We'll just get like looking at a certain angle, and it will stay in that angle forever, be it at a radiator or anything. John Nance, who plays Henry, he sort of plays the film out a little bit like a silent movie actor. He relies on facial expression and imagery. This film is about imagery more than anything else, as you can see by the main character's sort of image-based look, and it's a very sort of downbeat and fucking depressing film. I'm going to score it a 7 out of 10. Not because it's a bad film, I just found it just depressing to watch. I can see why people enjoyed it. It's not really possibly my sort of thing, because of I do like art house, but I like a strong story in the art house, and this was quite. I think it was the third part of the film spoiled it for me. I wanted to see a better outcome for the end of the story. I didn't like the outcome. I didn't like the way that the outcome for the newborn was, because I sort of fell for it. I started to fall in love with the little thing, and I didn't like the way that Henry was with him. And then it was just like, comes to him getting kind of like, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Going to this woman in the light, going to her for comfort, and then the film sort of ends, and I just thought, wow, what a stupid way to end the film. And it kind of ruined it, because I like the imagery, I like the way the film is flowing, I like the uncomfortableness of the film, and I fell in love with the little creature, and but it I can see why a lot of people like the film. To me, it just wasn't my sort of thing, but it was good. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. John Nars's performance was really good as Henry. I really liked it. Um, so the other cast members that were in the film was I can't even remember their name, but because they're kind of immaterial, it's all based around Henry more than anything else. But I will go in for a second watch, just to see if I can get on with it more. But yeah, 7 out of 10. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know down below what you thought of it. I'm glad to have it in my collection, because it is a very bizarre little film, and it's right up my sort of street. But I just got disappointed with the ending. The other real good thing about this film is the what's the stop motion. The stop motion is really cool in some areas, and really bizarre in others. But it was really cool and really bleak. It almost plays out like a music video, if you know what I mean. When music videos in the 80s became really popular, this was a 1977 film, I believe. When music videos became really popular, it it was kind of like it kind of plays out a little bit like that. But you know, it is what it is. Sorry, it's gone really bright. It's my TV screen's gone on, and it plays out a little bit like that. But it was still enjoyable to a point, but not necessarily for me. Massive shout out, guys, to Milad. Look after yourselves.